Hello, hello, hello. I am Zakiya Monique, Master Relationship Strategist, Transformational Speaker, best-selling author of Killer Connections. And I'm so happy to have you. And today we're talking about the video that was on my YouTube where the young man was talking about um, a lot of things. He said, that a woman should not know that she makes more money than you. And if she, does make more money than you shouldn't let her know. So you shouldn't lie to her, but you should omit the truth. He talked about not giving enough, giving just enough, in other words. It was so many things. Hopefully you did get a chance to watch the video to see what he said. I don't believe in attacking people. Okay. I don't believe in attacking people. I believe that you you talk about the argument. So I keep it on the argument. I have no issues with him. I don't know him. I don't have any issues with him, but I like to keep it on the argument, right? So I don't want to talk about him. I want to talk about what he said, and I want to give my viewpoint on it, right? So most of these points, though, this is what I will say. Most of the points that he made in his video, and most of the points I'm going to talk about tonight depends on your foundation and how you see your mate. Okay. It depends on your foundation and how you see your mate. Fellas, if somebody does not respect you, your insight, your leadership, then when you make less money than her or you move into her place, that lack of respect will be exacerbated because she already didn't respect you or how you move. And it was already an atmosphere of a lack of trust. So a lot of times when he was speaking about these things, he didn't factor in the fact that what does the foundation of these people look like? Are they healed? Are they broken? Right? You can't just spew out all of these facts, all of these 9 out of 10 times women do this. But what type of women are you talking about? What's the state of the relationship? How did the relationship start? Like these things all matter. Okay. So let's talk first about making more money, right? Making more money. I had this conversation with my fave. Shout out to my fave, Deshaun, my cousin Marcus. They keep me on my toes. And I've spoken with a lot of other men about, making more money than a woman. And I think it's safe to say that many men want to make more than their women, but not for the purpose of controlling most times. Okay. Most of the time, they don't want to make more money than their woman to control them. They usually want to make more money because they want to have that sense of pride as in value, right? Not ungodly pride, but the sense of pride as in value for taking care of, or so that they can adequately and properly take care of who they love. And that is okay. That's fine. Right? But just know that if you do not make more in finances, fellas, your manhood is still solidified and you are respected as more than just an ATM machine when your character is intact. The issue is, what's your character like? Okay? If you work hard for your family, we love that. We love it. No matter what you make, we love the fact that you go to work and go hard for your family. That's priceless. Somebody said, "Oh boy, was tripping in that video." Listen, I equate the man's feeling when he provides with our love for cooking his meal or nurturing him or rubbing his back and rubbing his feet for those who do that when he's worked hard and even bearing his children. But we love to take care of y'all too. It's not just for us. I mean, it's not just for y'all to take care of us. We both provide. We both protect. We protect y'all too. We just don't protect you physically for the most part. We protect you by saying, "Baby, I see danger over here. I see danger over here. I see danger over here." We're protecting you, and you protect us. We provide for you. We nurture. We provide an atmosphere of peace, and you provide for us, right? But what happens if she can't bear your children? What about that? If we equated our womanhood with just the ability to bear children, what about the women that can't bear children? Does that make them less than a woman? No, it doesn't. Do you throw them away? Well, you can't make kids, so you got to go. No, we figure it out together. We figure it out together as a unit, and it's all in how we steward things. Okay, so I want to talk to you about a unit. A unit is part of a whole. So think about an apartment building. From the outside, you don't know where one unit ends and one begins, right? When you look outside, my grandmother used to live in the projects back in the day. Shout out to the project. Um, Shout out to the Backstreet projects. And so when you stood outside of the projects, if you had never been in them, you didn't know where one ended and one began. And that's how we should be, right? That's how we should be. The same is for your marriage or your relationship. No one outside should know or see you undress your king or queen. Nobody should see you undress your king or your queen. So if from the outside, nobody knows who make the most. That's the insecurity of your own, fellas. That's your own insecurity. And sometimes, ladies, we cause a problem with that because we don't steward our money properly or how much we make properly. So if you make the most, that's not for you to hide behind that or to use that as power either. Right? But no one on the outside should know who makes what and what makes who. But an independent woman will abuse this. But remember, oftentimes she established independence as a mindset to protect her from what she saw when she saw dependency. So a lot of times when we saw dependency growing up, we saw it abused. And so as a result, we grew up and became INDEPE. We was like, ain't nobody gonna be treating me like that. Ain't nobody gonna do me like that. We were raised like that. Make sure you have your own in case he start tripping, right? Yeah. So if interdependence is at play, that's partnership and respect. She will not hide behind what she makes, but she will instead come and bring that to the partnership. The whole point of partnership is for us not to get caught up in yours and mine, but it's for us to make sure we're together. But that's a foreign concept to some people because they've never seen it done well. Okay. Now let's talk about moving in a woman's place. We're going to talk a little bit more about interdependence in a few minutes, but let's talk about moving in a woman's place, right? Moving in a woman's place. And I really feel like a lot of guys have this issue with, the ones that have the issue with a woman making more money than them. If that woman is not hiding behind it and using it as power, that's insecurity. And fellas, you just got to deal with your insecurities. Because if that woman is not hiding behind that money, if that woman is not using that money to tear you down, it's you. And you got to deal with that. Okay. Now, let's talk about moving into a woman's place. Do you move into a woman's place or not? Now, I believe in cleaving, right? Cleaving. You cleave. I believe God said you cleave to your husband or your wife. You cleave, right? And to cleave is to adhere closely, right? Now, Genesis 2:24, for those that believe, it says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave to his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Now, if you don't believe in the Bible, tune back in. All right, that's cool. So I believe that moving in with your girl, your boo, your bae, your lady, your love is highly unrecommended. No, no, not just because she could put you out, but because that's not God's order. And I'm amazed at how many of us want God's order, but we want to do stuff our way. So fellas, you ain't got no business moving in with your bae, your home girl, your whatever. You ain't got no business moving in with her anyway. If you're gonna move in with anybody, it should be the wife. Now, here's the thing. If the wife lives in a house that she purchased before he came along, and let's say he live in an apartment, it's perfectly fine for him to move in with her because are we really going to get caught up on he shouldn't move in with her? Isn't he financially stable? And he's stable in his own apartment. So if he's stable financially in his own place, are they just going to have two sets of bills when they could relocate to one place, have one set of bills, and then, in my view, let's have a conversation because when I picked this house, in other words, I picked this house based on the needs that I had at that time. Well, now our family has expanded, or my family has expanded, right? So now I'm welcoming somebody else in, and we're expanding. So maybe we need a bigger place. Maybe we need to build out some of the house. If you move in with your wife in the state that I live in, half of the house is his anyway. So whether your name on the house or not, he entitled to 50% of it anyway. But when you moving in with your girl, yeah, she can put you out. Yeah. But I believe that why would you want to have two sets of bills? That is dumb to me. That just don't make sense to me. That don't make good sense to me. You're gonna have two sets of bills because I ain't moving in your house. When you could just move here, we save up, go ahead and put money down on a bigger place or something to that effect. But here's the thing: if you're moving in with your wife, ain't no putting out. You know why? Because especially if you follow God's way, because understand this about your mate, you under covenant, not a contract. Covenant. You can't put nobody out of a covenant. Y'all together until somebody raise up out here and go to glory. So how you gonna put him out and you put her out? What? How? No, we're under covenant here. We locked in here. Ain't no putting out when we locked in. Unless we've decided not to be together, and it ain't no putting out there. And it's all right, how we gonna divide this up, how we gonna move on or whatever. But still, even then, God said, no, that's my covenant. You gonna nope. God don't see an end to his covenant. God don't see an end to the covenant. So who putting who out? Who putting somebody out? I don't understand that. That's somebody you should never move into a woman's house because she could put you out. You shouldn't move into a woman's house. You should move with your wife, if anybody. But you and your wife should move together. It's all in perspective. It's all in how you see a thing in a person. Before y'all even get to that point, it should be a level of respect for both of you. But when it's not, then you have these issues. Contracts can be broken. Covenants are forever. Ain't no putting out when it comes to covenant. But again, this is all problematic when you plan house versus building a home. When you building a home, who moving? Who going somewhere? Okay, you're going to sleep in this room. I'm sleeping in this room tonight. I don't even play that, to be honest with you. I don't play that sleeping in no room, okay? We're not going to bed mad. We're going to figure this thing out. We're gonna figure this thing out. I might not like this, or we might have to have a conversation tomorrow, but we're not going to be mad. And we're not sleeping on no couches. No, we going to sleep right here. I'm going to sleep right here. That's how I roll. But again, I believe in covenant. I don't believe in contracts. I don't believe in my boyfriend gonna move in with me. I'm not playing those games. So it depends on the caliber of woman you're dealing with. And see, here's the thing: some of these podcasters, people tell you and show you exactly what they used to by the things they say and by what they do and expect. And so it makes me wonder when I watch the video, what's the caliber of woman he's talking about? What's the caliber of woman you've run into? Who are these women that you're talking about? Because the women that I know, they believe in covenant. The women that I know, I hang around, I deal with, they're wives. They're not babes and girlfriends and booze and this my girlfriend, my lady. No, no, no. We're wives. We're wives. Okay? It's a difference. So, like I said, when you playing house versus building a home, you have these issues. If you put away childish things, what reason would she have to put you out? Can we talk about that? What reason? What reason would a woman have to put you out if you put away childish things and you come in there and you be the king of the castle? What reason? Handle your business. Do what you're supposed to do. I'm a firm believer. This is just me. You can't be the king of a castle you can't pay for. Mortgage. That's me. You ain't got to pay every bill because look, sometimes it don't work like that. But you can't say I'm the king of the castle, but you can't pay the mortgage unless you have a disability or something. But other than that, if you are able-bodied and you can't pay the mortgage at least, then how can you stick your chest out and say that you're the king of the castle? How, Sway? How? Okay. So here's the problem. Wounded women pick weak men. Wounded women pick weak men. Wounded women pick weak men, right? And so you know good and well before you move in her house if she respects you. Fellas, y'all ignore red flags too because she got a big old booty, she got a body, she do this, she do that, she have all kind of funs with you, she do all kind of fantasies with you, and you skip all the red flags that you saw in the beginning. Y'all skip them too. But you know good and well before you move in her house if she respects you as a man. But the problem is some of y'all are wounded and haven't done y'all work. And so as a result, respect sounds like this to y'all. I do what I want to do. You do what I tell you to do. Sir, excuse me, that sounds like slavery. And not even dependence, not even a dependent status is equivalent to slavery. We're going to talk about that in just a second. I don't understand. You do what I say, do it. I do what I want to do. That's basically what he said. Jeff Bezos and Michael Jordan, all of them, those women they did what they wanted to do, and those women didn't have more money than them. Since when do we weaponize money? Since when do we weaponize sex? We shouldn't be weaponizing sex and money. How are we married and doing this? How do you feel I'm rich? I can do what I want to do. Why would you want to dishonor your wife? Why would you want to dishonor your home? What you get married for? Just don't get married. You don't have to get married. But why get married, start a family, and then decide I want to dishonor my wife because I'm rich and I should be able to do what I want to do? No, you wounded. You wounded. You wounded. Okay. So last but not least, I want to talk about the abuse of power. The abuse of power. And this is where we're going to delve into dependence and all of that. So the abuse of power, first of all, is genderless. It's genderless. His video made it sound like only women abuse power. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Abuse of power is genderless, but like I said, that video kind of implied that it was very much okay for a man to have the power because he's the breadwinner and the leader, and he can kind of do what he wants to. But don't let the woman have power because she's gonna abuse it. But the man, he can do what he wants. No, no one who is wounded or have not done their work should have power because they're typically going to abuse it. Typically, yeah. You know how healed a person is by how they handle power, right? Someone in the comments said that The power that women have over men has nothing to do with money. And that is so true, because let me tell you something. If a man love a woman, she ain't got to have a dollar or a dime, but baby, she got some influence over him. And as women, we can choose to influence or manipulate. Influence or manipulate. We can choose to influence or we can choose to manipulate our men. And if they love us, they go on with us. They go on right with us. That's why it's important for you to pick the right one. Because if you pick the right woman, if you choose well, it will bring the best out of you. But if you choose hell, it will bring the worst out of you. Okay? If that man love you, you can get him to do just about anything. Just about anything. But if he's controlling her mindset and giving her crumbs just enough, like he said in that video, how's she ever going to fulfill her role as a helpmate to him? How? How am I going to be your helpmate if you don't value what I say? How am I going to be a helpmate if you don't see me as a partner, but you see me as one of them kids, or you see me as somebody that needs to do what he say? How? To desire to control another individual is a traumatic response. And this is where I want to talk about dependent, independent, and interdependent. Because what I think I'm mighty afraid that we have normalized some things that should have never even been a part of our vocabulary. Okay? Because again, to control something, to want to control somebody, that's traumatic, because we only want to control the individual when we don't want to be hurt. And so if I control your movements, I ain't got to worry about you hurting me, now do I? Now, here's what I mean when I say dependent. Dependent is to rely on another for financial support, emotional support, or some type of support. Now, oftentimes men want this traditional structure because they believe that it is their job to provide, and it's her job to take care of the home. And that's okay. I know a few women who stay home and their husbands are the breadwinners. They have a traditional lifestyle, but those women are still respected. Some of them still make a living. They just don't make as much as he does. And that's okay. Again, go find you a stay-at-home wife if that's what you want. Stop trying to drag somebody who got goals, dreams, and aspirations over to your side. But here's the problem. What I found in this generation, however, is that there are a whole lot of guys that want a dependent, but they can't sustain the household. So, baby, what we finna do? You want me to stay home and act like you taking care of business, but you ain't taking care of business. How? How? And you ain't created an atmosphere of safety and trust for me to relax. I'm not gonna relax and they finna cut everything off in here. Huh? You want me to depend on you totally, but you ain't whole. You ain't got nothing going. You ain't consistent. You lying, stuff getting cut off, but you want me to depend on you totally. No. You can't ask me to quit my job and you don't pay the bills, or you don't pay them on time, or you treat me like a third world citizen and I got to beg you for my essential needs to be met. Basically, you weaponizing money to give you control. No. These guys literally want to tell you to quit your job and depend on me, and they hustle in the streets. What? Quit your job, depend on me while I have a very undependable, like, yeah, we got to cut it out. Fellas, a healed woman has no problem being submissive when love, transparency, respect, communication, and trust are in the room. We will relax and let you take the lead with no problem, because many of us are tired of being mama and daddy, the man and the woman. But if not us, then who? However, when a man is wounded or a woman is wounded, they weaponize money and they use it as a mechanism of control to allow them to do what they please. Wounded women do this just like chauvinistic men, because they feel if they can control, they won't be hurt. So dependence. A lot of men want women to stay home so they can control the narrative, and that's because they never did their work. Now, if you want the woman to stay home, to take care of the children, to balance the home, she wants to stay home, everything is working for you, that's a different situation than what we're talking about. But the video that we're talking about that I posted on Facebook today, that wasn't this. That wasn't a balanced home. He wanted her to be without so he could do what he want to do and she do what he tell her. No. Independent. Now, I'm going to say this, and this might be a very controversial response, and I'm okay with that. But independence is often the traumatic response to seeing dependency done wrong. So many of us saw what, we saw grandma and we saw granddaddy and we saw, uncle and auntie, we saw mama and daddy, and we decided, yeah, I'm not going to let nobody have me like that. So the women felt like you better have your own this or your own that in case he get to tripping, right? Because you seen what he did to, when grandma didn't have no other choice, he went and had babies all on her, right? And when this one and that one, okay, so what happened? Oh, grandma, ain't had no choice. You had no choice but to deal with it. So what we decided to do was give ourselves some choices, right? We're like, no, I'm gonna give me some choices. And so it became a badge of honor because we were not taking no ish. I'm Independent. Do you know what that means? Got my own house. I got my own car. Own this, own that, right? But where did that leave us? That mindset left many of us alone. Now, I'm not telling you it's wrong to be independent. I'm not saying that. But I'm wrong. What's wrong is the mindset, not the act. The mindset is the problem. Because many of us are using it, right? I was guilty. That's how I can speak on it. I was guilty, but I was wounded at the time. And I saw what happened to my mother when she trusted the wrong guy. I heard about my grandfathers. I saw my father before he matured. So I was like, yeah, I'm no, not the kid. But independence was never meant to be a badge of honor that we hid behind because it's not God's way. And I know that it might be controversial, but independence is not God's way. It's not. It's not God's way. And so ultimately, here's the thing. God didn't give Adam dominion over Eve. He gave him leadership. There is a huge difference between dominion and leadership. He gave Adam dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air. He gave, over the creeping things, the cattle and all that. He didn't say, and dominion over her too. But he gave him leadership over her. There's a difference between leadership and dictatorship. Dictatorship or dominion quenches the thirst of the insecure. Dictatorship quenches the thirst of the insecure. And you got to be careful. But may I submit to you another way? May I submit to you that there is another way? And it's called interdependence. It's where you depend on each other. It's where y'all both got an investment in this thing. It's where reciprocity abides. You do this, she does that. You love her, she respect and honor you. Your body is hers, your body is his. And why did God say this? Because when God was giving out order, guess what? He often talked to both of them. He wasn't talking to no cattle. He wasn't talking to no fish. That's how you know it wasn't no dominion. He said, Eve, this, Adam, this, Adam, this, you, woman, this, man, this, woman, this. You are to love her. You are to honor him. You are. Why? Because in order to make a whole part, he had to put the units together. He had to put the units together. And because we're better together, operating as the best version of ourselves, because we're meant to love and respect each other and our contributions to the whole, when you put all those units together, you have unity. But again, this depends on us being whole, healed, and healthy so that nobody abuses their power. Nobody disrespects. Nobody demeans somebody's contribution. And let's be very clear. Let me tell you something. A wise woman once told me that cum is thicker than blood. I said what you heard. I said it. Cum is thicker than blood. So when you love that woman again, she got power that money won't buy. She ain't got to make more than you to have power. She don't. If you love her, she ain't got to have a dime. You will follow that woman to the end of the earth if that's what you love. So it's not about abusing power because of money. You take the money. If you love that woman, she got a whole lot of power. Whether she uses it in the right way or not depends on how healed she is. Depends on her integrity as a woman. But interdependent allows the parties in the relationship to talk about what works for them. Because listen, if she can't cook and he can't balance the checkbook, look here, we're not going to bounce checks and food costs too much for us to be stuck on what so-and-so do over there in their house. Look, if you don't let me handle the checkbook and you gonna stir up something, that don't make me look at you as less than if you cook. I like to cook personally, but I ain't in there tearing up groceries neither. I like to cook for mine. I ain't got a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not in there tearing up groceries. If I was in there tearing up groceries, listen, so I learned how to cook or whatever. Hey, go in there. Interdependence lets you shape what works for your relationship. And that's the problem. Too many of us trying to do what works for somebody else. And that ain't got nothing to do with you. Do what works for you in your relationship. Interdependence lets you find a system that works for you. So if you like the dependent lifestyle, go find you somebody that want to be dependent, or that somebody who wants you to stay home. If you're okay with the independent woman, go get you one. But if you want a partnership and a well-run machine where everybody knows their roles and lanes, interdependence is the way to go. Interdependence, where we all have our role and we know and we function therein. We know what we're supposed to be doing. And at the end of the video, he said that men should be taking care of themselves and remaining at the top of their game. Everybody should be taking care of themselves and remaining at the top of their game. We should all be the best version of ourselves, because that takes away from the unit when you're not. It's not just a man thing, it's an us thing. And we shouldn't wait until we break up to glow up. You should be glowed up in your relationship. You break up and then all of a sudden you want to get your hair done. You should have got your hair done in the relationship. We should be encouraging each other to always stay on top of our game, because that makes us better. If you better and we together, it makes me better. But here's the biggest issue to all of this, because a lot of what he talked about was individual. It was individuals. So that means they weren't locked in. Because how you going to say Michael Jordan had the most money, but his wife didn't? Aren't they together? If they're together, they have money. But the problem is this society don't ever really lock in. They still over here counting mine and that's yours. And if that's what you're going to do, just go on, stay single. But when you get together, you truly get together, you truly locked in together, it's a unit. And you don't know where the unit ends and where the other one begins. But because many of us have not done our work, and many of us are struggling with trusting, struggling with forgiving, struggling, we can't imagine letting somebody know everything about us. I ain't about to let them know all that. I don't trust nobody like that. Why? Because this person stole from me, this person did this person. Then you ain't ready for a relationship. You're not ready for marriage. Because marriage ain't it's supposed to be you cleave, you become one. You become one. And if you become one, how you steal from yourself? How? But again, the concept of marriage is so weird now that people say, no, that's mine, that's them his kids. This mine, this hit, this mine, this hit. And that's the type of relationships that he was talking about. That's what he was talking about. Because he wasn't talking about nothing godly. Because godly don't care who move in. You don't look at your man as less than if he move in the house and y'all save up to buy another house to meet y'all needs. You know, if he come move up in your house and he paying them bills, you're not gonna look at him as, well, I'm putting him out. Again, you ain't coveted. It ain't your boyfriend moving in. This your husband and y'all merging together as one. The Bible told the man to cleave, to be honest with you. It says you cleave. You leave your parents and cleave. You leave your family and cleave to her. And so if you leave your family and cleave to her, why does it matter whose house it is? If y'all together, like I said, in my state, 50% of it is hers. From the time y'all slide down that aisle and say, I do. 50% of it is his anyway. So we get caught up in the wrong stuff. We get caught up in the wrong stuff. And if you out here still trying to womanize and you out here still trying to play games and give crumbs and all that, you're just not ready. Not for nothing serious. Just go find you somebody that want to do the same thing you want to do. You know, go find somebody that want to play that game and gonna take your crumbs or whatever. Go find the one that you could give a little bit, but not too much to. Go find the one that's gonna let you play you do what I say while I do what. Because those of us that are wise, that are ready to really, really rub a back when his back hurting, that really are ready to fix you a plate, that's really ready to do their part as a woman, as a wife. Those of us that's really ready to nurture and to love and to honor and all of that, that they don't have the patience for the nonsense, and they don't deserve it. So play with the little girls that let you play with them, but when you find the wife, don't play with her. If you want to follow guys like that tell you to do stuff like that, no shade to him, but if you want to follow that, follow that. But don't present that to somebody that deserves way more. That's the way I feel. Don't present that to the woman that's the wife, that deserves cohesiveness. that deserve. Don't present that to her. Present that to the one that'll play the games with you. That's why a lot of older guys go get younger girls because they can mold and shape them into what they want them to be because they have no mindset. They're not finna, like Shannon Sharp said, I don't want no woman old and set in her ways. No, what you're really saying, in some way, is you really saying, I don't want nobody that's going to hold me accountable. There's a difference between you old and set in your ways and wounded. That's different. Not that exists, but that's different than I don't want nobody that's going to hold me accountable. And so I got enough money, I can go pick a young girl. She ain't gonna hold me accountable. That's okay, but look at what happened with the young girl. So now you want everybody to, oh, you feel no, no, no. Choices come with consequences. And so when you go get that young girl, it comes with a whole lot of headache. That woman that was established would have created you a peaceful home. Now you can't get her from over on your homeboy's lap. Now she on his lap because he had more money than you. Oh well. Choices come with consequences all day long. And at the end of the day, if you want a home that's peaceful, if you want somebody that want to work with you, you want partnership, interdependence is the way to go. But if you want to be out here dictating and all that, go find somebody to play with. That's all. Go find somebody that's okay with that. Stop getting people that's set and ready to go and ready to build and ready to heal and ready to yield and ready to do all the things. And you over here still in your insecurities because you make more than me. Man. Oh, but if I'm not demeaning you with what I make, what's the difference? I'm bringing it to the pot. I'm bringing it to the pot. You make 50, I make 60. Oh, okay, we make 110,000. That's what we make. I make 100, you make 100. We got 200,000. That's what it is. We get caught up in the wrong stuff because some of us are selfish and some of us are wounded, and we got to get healed. We got to grow up. We got to grow up. All right. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you think. If you're watching this afterwards, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you so very much. And I want you to have a great day. You already know how, on purpose. God bless you.